The Suzhou Industrial Park started life 30 years ago as a joint project between Singapore and China. While Singapore now only has a minority stake in the park retains much of Singapore's DNA. And it's a DNA that's helping it stand out among a crowded field. CNA's Guan explains.
In 1994, when Singapore Senior Minister Lee Kuan Yew signed the agreement for the joint venture to build Suzhou Industrial Park, Singapore had a majority 65% stake. But 5 years later, reduced its stake to 35%, transferring the management to Suzhou municipal government. Despite its reduced stake and the decades that passed, it's not hard to notice the seeds of Singapore's DNA planted within the park. There's the dense foliage echoing Singapore's garden city, the presence of Singapore organizations, and the Suzhou Centre is also built and owned by Singapore property giant Capital Land. The skyscraper is now Suzhou's signature landmark, and the mall attached to it is the largest shopping centre in Capital Land's global portfolio, big enough for 40 football fields. And therein lies one of the key things that Suzhou Industrial Park does for Singapore companies: the room to grow. Jeffrey Tiong's billion-dollar company has a huge operation in Suzhou today. But it started small in the National University of Singapore, or NUS.
After I graduated in 2007, NUS gave us the grant and gave us the space. That was our first office.
Why did you decide to set up shop in Suzhou Industrial Park?
Back then we compared the cost. I think the development cost in China is much cheaper than in Singapore. And more than 40% of our customers come from China market as well. To do well in a market, you have to be closer to the market, closer to the customer. Then you can iterate and innovate better for them.
Suzhou Industrial Park acts as a catalyst for growth for Chinese tech companies as well.
覆盖，用被子或衣服等盖住某个东西。
This lamp, which can read what you point at, uses language recognition technology from Suzhou company AI Speech. AI Speech began as a tiny startup in Cambridge, UK in 2007, moving to Suzhou the following year. Today it employs over 1,000 people in the park.
It has a pro-business policy and environment. For example, there's a one-stop business administration center. You can basically finish all the issues just in one place. That's very efficient and convenient. And also it has something we call city and industry integration planning. So basically you have a work-life sort of balanced area.
When returning to China in 2017, Xiao Feng and his wife Tong Tong also fell in love with the living environment here. The pair are scientists.
我就考察了南京啊、深圳啊，然后苏州的工业园区对于我们的 startup 公司的一个资助的这个力度也好，以及从生活环境也好，其实生活是可以慢下来的。然后在周末的时候也是可以带着小孩去想看看画展啊。
Suzhou Industrial Park is a lovely place, so organized. Thanks to the pioneers of the SIP that has really built this landscape and the entire infrastructure this well.
The Suzhou Industrial Park has gone beyond its industrial roots to become a much sought-after place to settle for the brightest minds to achieve their dreams. And that is perhaps the Suzhou Industrial Park's recipe for success and its greatest achievement as it turns 30 years old. For 8 consecutive years now, the park has been ranked as the top economic and technology zone in China. Guan, CNA, Suzhou, China.
And that's just snippets from our special feature on CNA Correspondent to mark the park's 30th anniversary. Watch the full documentary on CNA Insider on YouTube or CNA.Asia.